Okay, so this next video lecture is the continuation of our Module 1, Cost Concepts and Classification. So we have here the cost formula for our materials, labor, and factory overhead respectively. For the materials costing formulas, so we have here the first, the maximum stock level. So when we say maximum stock level, so this is when the entity makes sure that the orders or the demand of their customers are being satisfied, as well as stock outs, okay, can be eliminated, and still they have the excess inventory, okay. um, Excess inventory, okay, aside from the demand, okay, coming from their customers. So maximum stock level can be computed using this formula. Okay, so this is reorder level. When we say reorder level, this is the amount of inventory left, okay, in the stock room, which is considered to be acceptable and can cater any additional demand from the customer, and also to cover any stock outs, okay, or possible stock outs. Reorder quantity, so this is the quantity of the order placed, okay, to the supplier. So this is normally what the the company needs, okay, for their next period's sales, okay. So we will deduct from there the minimum consumption, which is multiplied to the minimum reorder period. So basically for this formula, we will discuss this in a separate module, okay, specifically in uh, under, I think, the economic order quantity, okay, lesson. The next formula is our minimum stock level. So minimum stock level is, this is the lowest possible amount of inventory left in the stock room, okay, which covers the possible stock out. So meaning in this level of inventory, this is when the entity should place the order, okay, to avoid stock out. So the formula for the minimum stock level is reorder level, okay, so that is the amount of inventory that in which the entity should place the order already. Okay, then we will deduct from there the average lead time. When we say lead time, this is the time when the entity placed their order until the time that they receive the order. That is lead time. Okay, and then multiply it with the average consumption. So average consumption is the total amount of consumption or inventory that are sold divided by the number of days, okay, in their accounting period in which they consume or sell their inventory. Okay, aside from the maximum and minimum stock levels, so we also have the average stock level. Okay, so when we say average stock level, so basically this is just the sum of our maximum and minimum stock level divided by 2. Okay, or you can also use this other formula, minimum stock level plus half of our reorder quantity. Okay, for the next formula, we have here the reorder level. So here, reorder level again, this is the level of inventory, okay, in which the entity should uh, place already their order. Okay, so here, to solve or to determine the reorder level, so we will use the maximum reorder period, meaning this is the number of days, okay, the maximum number of days that um, where the inventory level reaches our reorder point. Okay, and then we will multiply it with the maximum consumption, okay, of the entity. So again, the order level is determined that to avoid stock out. When we say stock out, it means to say that there is still a demand from the customers, but we do not have the available inventory to sell. Okay, so this will mean losses on our part or on the part of the entity if they cannot cater it. Okay, so aside from this formula, you can also use two other formulas. Okay, so normal usage times average daily delivery time plus the minimum stock level or safety stock. When we say safety stock, this is the amount of inventory that is left in the stock room, okay, which will cover for any stock out at the time that the entity placed their order until it is received, okay, to make sure that there are still inventories available. Okay, so we will add the lead time consumption. So lead time consumption is this is the amount of inventory that is consumed in the production or sold, okay, between the period where the entity placed the order and they received it, until they received it. Okay, so that's how we determine the reorder level. If your inventory reaches this level, meaning you have to place your order from your supplier already to avoid any stock outs. For the danger level, so this is where you or the entity already reached the point where stock outs, okay, occurred. So meaning there are no inventories left, okay, to sell or to consume for the demand, okay, of the customers. So danger level is equal to the minimum consumption times the emergency delivery time. Okay, so here this is the shortest time period. I mean, they should uh, place the order and receive it at the least minimum time to avoid stock outs. Okay, so we also have here the EOQ or economic order quantity. So we have a different module to discuss this specific formula. But as an overview, when we say economic order quantity, okay, so this is the number of inventory that an entity will place once they order, okay, from the suppliers. So EOQ at EOQ level, so the entity can minimize their um, transportation cost and storage cost, because in inventory there are a lot of costs that you will incur, and in case of ordering, aside from the purchase price of the inventory that they purchase, so the entity will also shoulder the shipping cost, okay, or depending on the terms, if that is FOB, shipping point or destination, okay, if shipping point, then they will be the one to shoulder the shipping costs. So that's for the delivery plus the storage cost also. I mean shipping cost. This is the other term for this is carrying cost. Okay. Another is storage cost. Okay. So storage cost will be the cost for placing the inventory in the warehouse if you are renting it. So aside from that, there are also other costs that relates to inventory, especially for example, uh, if the inventory is left in the uh, stock room for a longer period of time, so meaning the capital tied up to the inventory is not yet converted to cash. So that's another cost on the part of uh, the company. So all of these costs should be minimized. So the question is, how many number of units should they order to minimize all of these costs? So this is what economic order quantity is all about. So to solve this, 2 times annual consumption times the cost of placing the order divided by the carrying cost per unit per year. So 2 here is constant in our formula. Okay. So we will discuss more about economic order quantity in another separate module. Okay, for the next formula, okay, for our materials, so we have the inventory turnover ratio. So when we say inventory turnover ratio, this is the percentage of converting raw materials to finished goods and finished goods to sales. Okay, so this is the um, cycle of the inventory from actually the purchase of inventory up to the time or the point of sale where this was already converted into cash. So how many percent of that is or how many percent of your inventory was converted into cash for a certain period? That's in inventory turnover ratio. So here, to compute that, that's equal to material consumed divided by your average inventory. Okay. So this is the percentage, okay, of turnover. The next formula is inventory turnover period. Okay. So inventory turnover period is how many days, okay, can you transform or convert, your inventory to cash from the point of purchase of the inventory up to the sale of that inventory. Okay, how many days do it takes, okay, for you to convert it. So that's why our formula is 365 days. Okay, this is a 1 year or accounting period divided by the inventory turnover ratio. Okay, so this is how you determine if you are efficient in turning or converting your inventory into cash, okay, in its cycle. If it would take you longer, so meaning um, your item is not saleable. That's the meaning of it. But again, we will discuss this I think in a different module. Okay, so we will talk more about it. So in this our module, we will just have an overview or short overview and presentation of this cost formulas. Okay, that's why I did not provided an example yet. So another formula is safety stock. So again, we've mentioning safety stock earlier. So this is the amount of inventory that is available, okay, for any additional demand of the customers. Okay. So the formula to compute our safety stock is equal to annual demand divided by 365 times the difference between the maximum lead time and the average lead time. Okay. So that's for our safety stock level. For the total inventory cost, okay, so we've mentioned this a while ago in our EOQ. So this consists of your ordering costs plus carrying cost plus the purchase cost. When we say ordering cost, this is the annual consumption times cost of placing the order divided by the number of quantity ordered. Okay. For the carrying cost, so this is just the average of your quantity ordered. Okay, times the price per unit times the carrying cost expressed in percentage of your average inventory. So again, this formula, we will focus more of this in our EOQ discussion as well. Okay. So we have here a note for calculation of total inventory, carrying cost. Average inventory should be taken as half of EOQ. So aside from using this formula of average inventory, or you can also divide your EOQ into two. So average inventory cost is normally given as a percentage of the cost per unit. Okay, so that is the normal setup. To decide also whether discount on purchase of material should be availed or not, so compare the total inventory cost before the discount and after the discount. So normally in purchasing of the inventory, if the entity will purchase more or in bulk, so the supplier may provide discounts, or if the entity can pay within the discount period, okay, so they can avail of such. But here, in order for them to decide whether to take advantage of the discount or not, so they will compute the costs of these items if they will um, uh, they will pay, okay, or what how much is their bill without the discount, after the discount was deducted, and even if they did not take advantage of the discount. Okay, because in this case, there are certain instances where it is better for the entity not to take the discount. Okay, so total inventory cost will include ordering cost, carrying cost, and purchase cost. Okay, as mentioned. So again, we will focus more of this discussion under our EOQ. Okay, so that is for our materials cost.